Hi, welcome back to the Weekly Why. This week I want to talk about Passover. One of the first things we say at the Passover Seder, we say, whoever is hungry, let him come and eat. And it's very strange because, really what we're doing, it's often seen as, we're kind of inviting people in. It's a Seder, it's supposed to be, communal, families, so on and so forth. And yet it seems strange if we really meant this, right? If we were really genuine about wanting to, host people and wanting to have, poor people or hungry people coming in to eat. Why are we doing this, and why are we asking the door closed as the Seder begins? I mean, it seems a little disingenuous, doesn't it? If we really were trying to find, poor people or starving people or lonely people a place for Seder, we would have been doing this a week or two or a month earlier. We would have been asking people. We wouldn't be standing there with doors shut saying, whoever wants to come, who's hungry, come and eat. Well, it's like, no one's going to hear you. The door is shut. And even if, as you said that, if someone came and knocked on your door and said, hi, I'm hungry, can I come and eat? I bet you 90% of us would still say, oh, well, you know what, we're doing a family thing, it's, or, we have our friends here, we already we don't have any food left. It's like, even if we were saying it, even if someone at that moment came to the door and said, hi, I'm exactly who you're looking for, I think we wouldn't accept it. And so it seems a little bit strange there in the sense that if we really actually did mean it, we would be saying it a week earlier and we wouldn't, it seems a little disingenuous. So I think that there's a whole other approach that we can look at this from, and we can look at it from the perspective of it being basically a prayer. A prayer basically asking God, saying, God, please on this Passover night, any Jew who needs a place, any Jew who is not partaking in a Seder and so on and so forth, let him find a place. Let him be part of a Seder. And I think that the reason that we say this at Passover, and this isn't something that, it's simply a rote thing that we say at every single holiday. And the reason we say this at the Seder is that the Seder and Passover in general it's a communal national holiday, in the sense that every other holiday really would not exist if it were not for Passover, because Passover created the Jewish people as we know the Jewish people. If it weren't for the Jewish people as a whole coming out of Egypt, there would be no Jewish people at Mount Sinai to receive the Torah. If there was no Jewish people, there would be no Yom Kippur, Rosh Hashanah, or Purim, or Hanukkah, or anything like that. So in that regard, the reason that we're saying this prayer on Passover and saying, God, please make sure every single Jew is part of a Passover Seder tonight, is basically to say that, you know what, this holiday is not complete as individuals unless we have it complete as a national entity either. So what I mean by that is to say, if I'm sitting there and I'm having a lovely Passover Seder with my extended family or my friends or whoever it is, and I'm having a lovely time and all this, and we go over the Passover story and everything, lovely. But the fact is that if 50, 60, 70, 80% of the Jewish people aren't in the Seder at that night, then we're kind of missing the point, because the Seder is commemorating the national exodus from Egypt. And so it obviously defeats the entire purpose of it if we have 80% of the Jewish people who are not partaking in the Seder, thus not commemorating the Exodus from Egypt. Thus we can have the wonderful, most amazing Seder on our own, but the point is that even if there is one Jew who is not partaking in that, ultimately our Seder is not totally complete. In fact, it's lacking significantly. And this is why there is an obligation to try to, see who needs a place for Seder and so on and so forth. But that's the reason at the night of the Seder itself we make that prayer, because we realize that, unless that every Jew, or as many Jews as possible, are partaking in this Seder, ultimately our Seder itself is not really complete. So have a wonderful and kosher Passover, and we will pick up at some point next week then. Okay? Best wishes, Shabbat Shalom, God bless.